Let me explain a little bit about list. List is generics, and the list here and between angle brackets is T. T means type. The type is can be integer, can be string, can be boolean, or that the user or developer created type can be that overclass, for example, car, or any other type that can be that. Here T represents type. List is a collection of strongly typed objects, and that can be accessed by index. Also, we can access using index number, and the index number is starts with 0 as array, and the having methods for sorting, yes, has method for sorting, for searching, and modifying list. And in the afternoon, also we are going to discuss about the LINQ methods, and the LINQ methods also will help us about sorting, searching, filtering, updating, and so on. That we have methods, that LINQ methods, and we can use together with strings. We can use together with lists and arrays, and we are going to do much more things that using LINQ methods also. But also we have list methods. And list can contain string, int, double, etc. And also objects. We are going to create our objects, and then we can store it in the list. Also, you can store it in the array. It is also possible. But the list is very, very good way that to store the data in the list. It is good, actually, a very, very convenient and easy way. And it is different from the arrays. And the most important differences is array can be resized dynamically. We don't need to resize it again using another method. It resizes dynamically. You don't need to assign that how many elements that I am going to put in the list, but we have to do when we want to use array. It is important. But in list, we don't need. We can put, and it's reside dynamically. Yes, and in general, it's better to use list in C#. Yes, we are going to use it actually from today, actually more times that the lists. It is very convenient way to store the data. In general, it's better to use lists in C# because lists are far more easily sorted, searched through, and manipulated in C# than arrays. And here also that we have links you can check. Of course, you can search also on Google. If you check first link, the second link, it is here, and it is learn.microsoft.com. It is about list class. It is about list class. And here the definition that it is defined that the namespace is system.collection.generic. It is in generic, actually. It's defined here. And yes, these are that the interfaces. Interfaces here, the important interface, one of them is IEnumerable. Later, we are going to discuss about it. It implements this interface. Next week, we are going to discuss about interfaces. What is interfaces? And also later, we are going to discuss about some important interfaces. And one of them is IEnumerable. When you see I, this, and it means it is interface. It is very similar to class, but it is interface. And yes, it's also another one is later important interfaces is iQueryable. Later also we are going to discuss about that. And here you can see the constructor about list and what kind of constructors that how you can create your lists. It is constructor about creating lists, and also here the methods. What methods that we have can be used together with a list. Here that the add method we are going to use, add to element into list, add range element for method, for example, we are going to use add more elements at the same time, or we can add list into a list, or we can add array into a list. It is also possible. And yes, different methods contains method. For example, copy to, you can copy the list, find the method here. It is a list method that you can find this the element from the list. And yes, here another much more that methods that we are going to use also, which one is to be used, that we are going to need to array, that it will convert to array, new array. Of course, it copies the element of the list and to be create a new array. Also, we are going to use it to string, returns a string that represents the current object. And yes, you can check also, and we are going to use some of them, some of important of them. Another LINQ is here. It is this one, and here also you can take more information about list. List is a collection of strongly typed objects that can be accessed by index and having methods for sorting, searching, and modifying list. It is comes under system.collections.generic namespace. And yes, list characteristics is list equivalent of the array list, which implements is I list here. And then it comes under system.collection.generic namespace. And list can contain elements of the specified type in string, Boolean, or that the developer defined type, car, for example, that we are going to use for today. And the elements can be added using add. If you are going to add just one element, add method. If you are going to add some more element at the same time, we can use add the range method. Also, that can be accessed using like this, exactly same with array, list name, and then index number. We can access it and we can change the element value. It is possible. And list performs faster and less error prone than the array list. And yes, here how we can create it. You can take much more information. Okay, let's start. Let's start using lists here. We can define like this, of course, list. It is, for example, it will hold integers, and then name of the list, let's name it grades, and it will be equal new, and then list int, yes, and then between curly braces we can assign, we can initialize statically like this. It is also possible that we can put here that the parentheses, and then here, for example, 1, 5, 6, 8, 9, and then that's 10. Yes, we can put the elements, and yeah, we can access the element using, for example, like this, that the grades, and then which element do you want to access? For example, index number 0, and then it will show, it will access to first element here, 1. Let's run the code. Yes, it is here, and then yes, 1. It is first element that we can access. And of course, we can add element. For adding element, that we can write grades dot add method. And for example, let's add 20, and then yes, and yeah, it will be added into list. And of course, you can access for each element using loops. You can use for loop, you can use while loop, or for each loop is very convenient for it. And here, let's use this template, var grade in grades. Here, var will be integer actually. You can see if you go over on it, and it is integer. Now you can see it because the elements of on my list is integer. If you try to add here, for example, a string or like this, you cannot add it because this list can hold just integers, and you can see here that it cannot convert from string to int here. But yes, we are going to add our objects. We are going to define our own object, own classes, and we are going to create own objects, and then we can add it to list. But of course, the type have to be my class name. And here also it can be, you can write here int, as you know, And now let's access to these elements one by one. Let's grade, and it will get the elements from first element to the last element, and it will show on screen. Let's run the code. Now, yes, you can see it's accessed that each elements, that the 1, 6, 8, 9, 10, and then I added another element 20 is in my list. This is a way that you can access, you can show, or you can change. For example, let's grades, for example, 0, 0, and then change it with, for example, 3. And then it will change. Let me go back to here, move it to here first, and then it will show on the screen. Let's change first element instead 3 instead of 1. Now it will be 3. First element is changed with 3. That is exactly the same how we did it in array.